If you're tired of the cycle of conflict in your relationships, this video is for you. But be sure to watch part 1 and 2 first. Hey everyone, if you've been here to see my videos before, welcome back. If you are new to seeing my videos, my name is Ross and I'm an intuitive counselor. And this video is part 3 of a series about the drama triangle, and as you learned in the second video, the empowerment dynamic. And I actually want to start by giving credit to the creators of these two triangles. The first one, the drama triangle, is created by Stephen Karpman, which is a simplified way of looking at transactional analysis and the roles we play as adults and children. And then the empowerment dynamic was created by David Emerald. So I'm just really grateful for those two folks for creating these models. And in terms of the way that I've shared them, a lot of that is my interpretation and my way of looking at them. So I wanted to finish this series by talking about how does this show up in our relationships and how do we actually make a change in our relationships. And what I'll start by saying is that when one person chooses to step out of the drama triangle and into the empowerment dynamic, the whole cycle changes. In other words, if you get home and your partner says to you, "Why the hell didn't you do the dishes?" you could respond by saying, "I'm really sorry. I was late this morning. I rushed out of the house. I'm sorry that you had to take that on yourself, and I'll make sure it doesn't happen again." The moment someone doesn't go into the defensive mode is the moment that the dynamic changes. And there is no room to be in that persecutor, rescuer, drama triangle and victim mode because the one person isn't playing into that cycle anymore. And all of the sudden, one person in the relationship has compassion and kindness and is able to see the other person's perspective rather than just their own perspective. So, sounds simple, right? But it's not, because we have to first understand, where did these ways of being originate? And for many of us, we were shown how to communicate this way. We were shown by our parents through no fault of their own. They were just trying to do their best. And we witnessed what I would call unconscious communication, and that's communication without a choice. And we weren't shown a way to be conscious in our communicating. And so what we first need to understand is, what's going on with our nervous system? What is it that's causing us to become dysregulated to the point where we can't control how we show up in our relationships and in our communication? And often it's that little part of us that gets triggered because of the way it feels, feeling abandoned, feeling unheard, feeling looked over. And what happens is we then defend ourselves. And the moment we start defending ourselves is the moment we become the persecutor in the drama triangle. And so, really, like, before we can really expect things to change in our relationships, we absolutely need to look at ourselves in the mirror and be like, what is it that needs to change about me? And that is the hard work. That is the looking in the mirror and the unraveling of, like, what happened to me that created this way of communicating? And what do I need to do for myself to reconcile that and to shift that energy? And then the other part is then learning about ways that you can consciously communicate in your relationships. And when it comes to conscious communication, I think the first book that really opened this door for me was The Four Agreements. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. That book, I loved it because there's four simple ways of being that it encourages you to look at. And those four ways of being have the ability to really transform our relationships. And those four ways of being are focused on us change, or me as the person wanting to change, making a change in how I communicate. And I'll never forget that when I was reading that book and really immersing myself into that book, I had an experience where I was in a conflict with my then ex-wife. We were talking about something, I don't remember what it was, but I was angry and swearing and quite upset. And then immediately after that, I got into my car and drove through the parking lot angry and hit a curb and popped 2 tires. And it was in that moment that the teachings of the Four Agreements really hit me, because the teachings of the Four Agreements are, and I always forget one, but it's don't make assumptions, be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, and always do your best. Yes, I got all four. And so that piece, and these are very interwoven, and I could probably do a whole video about the Four Agreements. Be impeccable with your word and don't take things personally. Those two things applied to how I was in that moment. When we shift our way of being and use tools like the Four Agreements to shift how we are in relationship, then that's the next level piece that will shift our dynamic. And then we become the teacher of conscious communication for our partner. We start to show them how they can return and communicate with us. So I guess in this series, I really just wanted to introduce you to the drama triangle, the empowerment dynamic, and this idea of like how we can become more aware in our relationships and shift this dynamic so that we can be more connected and more supportive in our relationships and stop causing so much pain and discomfort, and also stop the cycle that has started so long ago. So I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you benefited in some ways from this video series. And if you like this video, please do push that button. If you think someone you know would benefit from this video, please share. If you have a topic that you'd like me to cover in the future, please write that in the comments. I would love to respond to people's requests for topics. And if you're interested in the work that I do as an intuitive counselor, you can find my website in the description of this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time, and I'm sending you unconditional love.